Alright, welcome to day 2 of a week with the iPhone. I've basically been using the iPhone now for a few days, and as you can see there, the battery is, well, you might just be able to see it if I zoom in. The battery's running about just above 3/4 power, but I haven't actually been using it. There's a lot to be said about the battery life on the iPhone. If you do use it quite a lot, obviously for browsing, Wi-Fi, your GPS usage, it will drain the power like any phone. And a lot of people have already said that in the forum that because I like the Windows Mobile kit, that I'm going to try everything to derive the iPhone. Now, just to get this out of the way, yes, okay, it hasn't got copy and paste. I can't forward my text messages. Multimedia messages come through with a link and say, click here to download the multimedia picture or to view it, whatever. And yes, okay, it's only available on O2 here in the UK and no other network unless you start unlocking it, etc. But those are minor points because today the new version, iPhone version 3, was announced, as I record this anyway, and it is going to include copy and paste, it's going to include multimedia messaging, and lots of other API hooks, etc., things like that are going to be included. I mean, as a brief example of the reasons why I love this interface, the iPhone interface is fantastic, everything gels well. You can see over here I've got the Sony Ericsson Xperia X1, which I've actually put the HTC TouchFlow system onto, which you're not strictly supposed to do, but it's on XDA developers if you want. So just to show you, if I go into the calculators here on the Windows Mobile device, let's say I want to load up my calculator. So there I've got the HTC TouchFlow 3D system there, and I can see my programs that are available. Now let's go to, not calendar, let's try and find a calculator if we can. Let's say I'm going to pictures and videos as an example. Now, it looks like a calculator isn't installed on here, but pictures and videos here is a very old Windows Mobile application which is included by Microsoft in Windows Mobile 6.1 and various other versions of the operating system. But you can see we've gone from the silky smooth HTC GUI, which is very, very sexy indeed, and there's lots of new additions here on the HTC 3D system here. So if I go to messages here, say new account, you can see you get a nice mail setup screen, which is much better than it was before, nice and friendly. I can put a new keyboard on, which is a lot easier to use. I can go to into the browser here, which is the Opera browser, which is much better obviously than the Internet Explorer, which is included. These menus here are maintained across the HTC TouchFlow system. I'll see if I can show you one. Let's go into stocks and add stock. Nice little menu structure there, nice picker. Let's go into music, we can search for music, weather, we can have a look at that. We can go into settings, we can go into menu on the settings, and we get a nice, look at that lovely little menu pop up at the bottom. But you can still install programs in Windows Mobile from the internet, or you can go onto shops like MobiHand or Click Apps, etc., which when you run them look absolutely nothing like that beautiful interface you saw there. For instance, this is the standard Windows Mobile calendar that comes with it. This is what, you know, again, see, you can see I've clicked menu there and it's brought up the lovely HTC TouchFlow menu, and you think, wow, that's really cool. But if we go into day view and the week view and the month view, we've got the standard old-fashioned, like everybody's seen it, and you've probably all got this on your Windows Mobile handset. But HTC have already invented a much better calendar, which I'll go to there, and this is much smoother. But you can see you've got that sort of, you've got two different interfaces. You've got the lovely smooth, silky interface here, which blends well, and then you've got the Windows Mobile back end, which a lot of programs end up defaulting to, and it looks a bit not really joined up well, to be honest. Can't really think of the word, but here on the iPhone, for instance, if I go into calculator, say, it has a calculator, it maintains the interface that we've had on the main screen. Use the same button every time to exit out of an application. There's no clicking on a screen or an OK button, etc., which is fine. But if I go into the calendar here on the iPhone, here is my calendar straight away, nice and big, and there is no other calendar. I mean, I'm sure you can download calendars or various other applications off the App Store, which will do similar things or maybe more, but they will all maintain the same graphical user interface, and it will be a nice, smooth, conjoined experience where both the interface here and everything you click on looks the same, feels the same. Now, obviously, with Windows Mobile, there are a lot of choices. You've got here the HTC Kaiser, which I've used for absolutely ages, and I love that little phone and the keyboard on it. It's fantastic. We've got HTC built Sony Ericsson Xperia X1, which is a fantastic device with its panels interface, which you can see if I click on this button. Hopefully, this is a ROM that I've downloaded from, or a firmware update that I've downloaded. So you can see the panels interface here that Sony Ericsson have put on. They've added their flavour to the phone. But you've got a lot of different manufacturers developing GUIs for the Windows Mobile operating system. So each phone that you buy is very, very different indeed. The other thing is here, I mentioned before with the iPhone, which has locked itself cleverly. As default, it's locked itself. I like the fact that it does things as default that you'd want it to do. So if I unlock my phone, obviously there's other little gripes I could mention, multitasking, etc., etc., but at the end of the day, it runs quickly. It doesn't slow down for no particular reason, really. And if I was going to show you, say, settings here, we'll have a look at the settings. We can go straight into the wireless access, the brightness, the sounds, wallpaper. So I can go, right, I want to change my ringtone. Let's see, I've never done this before. I'm going to click on sounds as my ring, and then I press that for ringtone, and then let's choose Torchwood Long. And okay, Quantum Leap. Okay, let's have the Danger Mouse. I'm happy with that, so let's go back. Now, I know that a lot of manufacturers like Sony Ericsson, like HTC, have developed their own interfaces which look a lot like this. So let's say I'm on HTC, and let's say I want to change the ringtone on the HTC phone. Now, if you're lucky enough to have the this new interface here, the HTC TouchFlow 3D interface, you can scroll all the way to the right, go into Settings, hit Sound, and then you get the sound interface here. Now I've got my ringer, got my volume, got my ring type, I can got my ringtone. So let's press ringtone, one button. Straight into ringtones, fantastic. This is really, really what I was looking for when I bought the phone. But for those of you who don't have the HTC TouchFlow 3D system, or perhaps have another Windows Mobile phone which doesn't have any interface whatsoever, you will end up with the standard Windows Mobile interface, which means that you've got the Today screen. You have to go into Settings. Right, so we're in the old-fashioned or the standard Windows Mobile sort of settings now. Now, if I don't have an interface of some description, or some interfaces do actually still dump you back to this this screen when you want to change your ringtone, I end up going to Personal, and then I've got to go into Sounds and Notifications, and I end up with this screen here, which forces me to click another tab which is the notifications tab. And then I get to choose the event, so here it's the incoming call. And I want to change the ringtone to, say, Jack. I need a stylus at this point because the buttons are too small and they're not geared towards finger-friendly access. And I think that is really the crux of the problem with Windows Mobile. Really, Windows Mobile was split into two categories early on: the smartphone, which is the non-touchscreen version, and the Pocket PC, which a lot of people had Pocket PCs like this, and they quite enjoyed using them with the little styluses that come with them. And that, for a long time, worked for Microsoft, and it still is working in certain fields. You get a smartphone, you get a Pocket PC, as a lot of people still call them Pocket PCs or PDAs, and you use your stylus and you click on Start, and you go into your Word documents. Let's unlock it first, that might help. You go into Start, you go into Programs. I want to do some, I want to change my ringtone and say let's go Settings again, and I want to go to Sounds and Notifications again. Let's see, I want to change my ringtone, so I'll go into Notifications there, and it is, when you look at it, a bit insane, really. Just changing something as simple as your ringtone to make your phone individual, using this interface is painful, even with the stylus. So I want to change it from ring high score to ring midnight. So it's ringing now. Obviously I've had the volume up. That didn't say, hey, your volume's down, you won't hear this before I click play. It actually just tried it anyway. So there we go. That's the interface that Microsoft have got now. Now, obviously, you've got Windows Mobile 6.5 coming out. So I'm not sure whether this has been altered in any way. You've got Windows Mobile 7 after that coming out. But at the moment, you've got people who want to use their fingers. They do not want to be seen out with the stylus. So those sort of people before would have bought a smartphone without a touchscreen, and they would have been quite happy pressing the keyboard down here and not having a stylus, because it's most uncool to walk around with one of those with your friends. Unfortunately, this thing has flipped the whole idea on its head, and now people are used to using their fingers to control the phone, whether it has a keyboard or not. So they want to have everything presented to them on one screen. They want two clicks into the ringtone adjustments, things like that. They want sensible prompt screens that come up, like if I try and use a camera, and it says, hey, why don't I use your GPS location and save that to the camera, to the phone when you take a photo. Obviously it doesn't have the GPS location at the moment, but if I was outside, that's what it would have. So I would like to see a lot of what the iPhone is about in Windows Mobile. I want to see a more friendly interface. I want to see a more gelled interface where everything is the same. I don't want to see these sort of two different interfaces clashing or fighting against each other, or the Windows Mobile interface being hidden and it only popping out when a Wi-Fi signal is found or when you download a new application. So that is my rather rambly day 2 of a week with the iPhone. Obviously, as the days come, we're going to be comparing the browsers. We're going to be comparing a lot more. I'm going to try and get a HTC Touch HD to compare the two devices head to head. But please do keep on sending in your questions.